Cloudy with a low of 30. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Loziga on 94.5 ESPN.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Do we need a late summer field trip downtown with the Blammer?
I would love nothing more. I would clear my calendar for the whole day.
What is this? A prophylactic wrapper?
Okay, because I don't think he's available to August because I got him grounded on the 4th.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you got him grounded on the 4th?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
What is this doing on my bed?
I don't know. You were having sex on our bed? Yes.
And he was supposed to go to a party and didn't go, so we're looking at a 3-weeker.
You gave him too many Blammers?
They either evaporated or he drank them. I have no idea. All I know is I just kept filling the glass up.
Who told you you could have sex in our bed?
Well, my bed is too small. Your bed is too small? I'm gone 2 weeks and you turn our house into Bourbon Street? That's it. You're grounded.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count. Our chairs stacked just like a mountain. You heard about it, she running her mouth.
Whether or not Mark Chamorro is a deep thinker is debatable. Whether or not Mark Chamorro is gullible is not. Chew, what did your wife tell you y'all were doing this weekend?
Going to see Depeche Mode.
What? Depeche Mode, the band?
And this guy, well, it was a cover band. She failed to tell me that. So they were supposed to be The Cure opening up for Depeche Mode. Right? So then we had
Wait. What year is it?
It's 2024.
I just wanted to make sure. Because The Cure opening for Depeche Mode sounds like something I would have seen in the 80s.
Yes. Which the group we went out with, we all grew up, went to high school in the 80s.
Okay.
Then we had the discussion, shouldn't Depeche Mode be opening for The Cure?
That's a very good conversation.
So then, listen to this twist. So I find out a band, it's fine, no big deal. The venue was cool. It was cool. I sent you guys a video. So we walk in about halfway through The Cure set, right? So we get in there, we get to our table, and the lead singer looks like he's strung out. Strung. Hair a mess. Blah, just like, and you know The Cure, some of The Cure music.
Well, isn't
Joshy?
Robert Smith, the lead singer of The Cure, isn't his hair pretty
It's quite disheveled.
wild, and he's got the eye makeup? And...
But this was, he was leaning into it, clearly looked like he's strung. So they were fine, they were fine. So then, obviously there's a little intermission because the Depeche Mode has to set up their band. So Depeche Mode starts. They're about 3 songs in, and my investigative wife leans over and goes, "This is the same band. It's the same band."
Wait a minute. Are you telling me this one band double booked as 2 separate bands?
Yes.
Okay.
And she had video because it was one of those, this is so bad, it's so good. So she went back and looked at the video, and sure as sugar.
Same guy.
It was the same band. Same guy. Same guitar, same drums, same everything. They were just all costumed up as The Cure.
I assume that the hope is that y'all are
I told the waitress, I said I want $8 of my $10 ticket back.
Wait minute.
I felt defrauded.
Sure, but that's kind of brilliant, right? Like for them.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
you got to
I
book
would
an
have never
opening
figured
act,
it out.
and you got to book a main act, and if you can pull off double duty and you can collect the payment for both.
Yeah.
I don't know, Joshy. It feels like kind of a smart business plan.
Did they change outfits?
Yes, totally.
I love that.
Yes.
And
I felt ripped off, though. Hold on. I felt ripped off.
Yeah.
I paid $10 to see 2 bands, and I saw one.
No, you saw one band doing 2 acts.
Yes. That's fraud.
What would you have paid to see the one band do the 2 musical acts?
Well, I think they should have paid us.
That's not how this works.
It was but it was one of those things. It was so bad, it was so good.
I want to go back to, though, this idea that your wife told you that it was Depeche Mode, and you bought that hook, line, and sinker, no investigating, no curiosity, no wait a minute. Depeche Mode, would they be touring? Are they still? Now, they do still tour. I want to be clear. They do still tour. They're just not actively touring, according to the old Google machine. But you just were like, oh, well, if she says we're going to see Depeche Mode, we must be going to see the Depeche Mode and not the
venue
Depeche Mood.
The venue was probably half the size as the Pabst Theater.
Okay.
So it felt right. It felt kind of right. Because if Depeche Mode was to play in Milwaukee, where would they play?
Amphitheater?
With the Cure, though. With the Cure.
The Cure.
I would think Pabst. I would think Pabst Theater, right? So that's why it didn't seem strange
I
to me.
don't know.
Like,
I feel like
this is
they're
a pretty
very
big venue.
popular. Am I overestimating the popularity of Depeche Mode, Joshy?
I'm probably not the right person to ask. That act feels like a Potawatomi venue concert. Because usually, and not to get too specific here, but the crowds that older people would like, that's generally the venue for them.
And how big is that?
It's a pretty, they have pretty big acts there. It's just, it seems to fit that clientele. I don't know if they could do the Riverside, which I was at on Thursday.
We're going to get into that.
Uh-huh.
We're going to
get to that.
I don't know if they go quite that big. The amphitheater might be
So
too
it
big.
felt right. Would it feel right? It felt kind of right.
You're the
That's why I
only
didn't
person
question
that this happens to, by the way.
Yeah.
There's no other human being in the history of the world, in the history of people I know, who are showing up to an act thinking that they're seeing the real one and seeing a cover band. This doesn't happen to anyone else, big guy. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, because I don't investigate that much. I would have never known it was the same band up there. I would have never known that the Cure and Depeche Mode were the same band.
I have a question, because I texted you because I saw tweets about this, and I believe people were texting in that they weren't touring. Did you know before my text that it wasn't actually, did I ruin the whole bit for Angie?
Yes, but I was too far into it, so I couldn't. If she said a cover band for this, I'm like, eh.
Wait, that's got to be it. That's got to be why she said that it was the real band.
Yeah.
Because she knew there was no way you were showing up for a cover band of The Cure and Depeche Mode.
1,000. Leave it vague enough. She never technically said it was or wasn't a cover band.
No.
Do you think you would have noticed, had that concert played out and she never told you beforehand it was a cover band, do you think you would have been a little wiser?
Yeah. I would have never known. I would have said, God, Depeche Mode's terrible. I'll tell you why, because we went to another venue for her birthday, I think, last year, and went and saw Queensryche. And we had this discussion last year, right?
Yep, you did.
How many original members have to be in the band in order to call it Queensryche? Is one enough?
No, it's a percentage, right? So how many members of the band are there in Queensryche? 5, 6? I don't know.
4, I think 4.
So I think you got to have...
only one was original.
I think you got to have 50%. It's interesting.
No,
Josh
no,
is
it was
saying
the
it's
drummer.
weighted.
Yeah, I think
It's the drummer.
It does get weighted when it's the front man. Especially, There's some bands where it's a band is just one person, basically. That's what everyone knows. Obviously, you can get into the... But,
yeah.
I think you probably need multiple for it to still be considered.
Like Dave Matthews Band is tough to sell if Dave Matthews isn't up there, tapping his feet around with the guitar strumming. Hootie and the Blowfish is a tough sell if you don't have Darius Rucker up there in front saying, "Hold my hand." Like that's a hard one.
And many bands go through a lot of changes to the auxiliary members. Like a lot of them throughout the course of their tenure will have 4 different drummers just because they're older.
Drummer is the most obscure, though. I mean, I know that there are very famous drummers, Dave Grohl. There are guys
Neil
out there
Peart.
that you can name, but I don't think drummer counts as much as, like you're saying, a front-facing member of the band.
Right.
So it'd be like Counting Crows. If Adam Duritz isn't up there for Counting Crows, that's a tough sell. I don't even think I could pick a single other member of Counting Crows out of a group if they were in front of me. So a couple of things I'm real fascinated by. One, the fact that the one band played the 2 acts.
It's heady play.
Yes.
So let's put
Would that bother you guys? Would that bother you?
I don't. It depends on how good they were. Were they good? Did you have a good time?
No, they were horrible. Horrible. Which made it great.
Wait a minute. You have a scale of. I need to understand.
Yes.
This. So it's either great. The show has to be great, or it has to be so bad that it's great.
Yes.
You can't sit in
if it's down the middle, then I'm not interested. It's just. But it was so bad, it was so good, and then you add the fact that they played both sets, even made it better.
I actually really like that. Like that would have elevated it for me. If I was like at a 6 and then I found out Eureka, it's the same band playing twice. Now I'm at an 8. Now I'm like, oh man.
But when the lead singer played The Cure, I mean the singing was terrible, but I mean the fact that he was looking so strung out, we were like, God, is this guy going to even make it through the set? But it was really a scam because he was trying to take this character so far out of it. So when he came back as Depeche Mode, to be like, you'd have no idea. My wife is nuts.
Oh, that she was able to identify that?
Why would you be looking for that? Yeah.
Well, women are notoriously good observers. We notice all the things. You should know this by now, Chew. You've been married for a very long time.
I take that back. Yes.
We notice all. Your wife counts the Viagra. She notices things.
Yes. Yeah, good point. Very good point.
Joshy,
but it was great.
What are we going to put on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll off of this one? I got a lot of things happening here in my brain, but maybe you can streamline it for me.
I was just going to say, does Chewy have a legitimate gripe with the Cure and Depeche Mode cover bands being just one band?
That changed costumes.
Yes,
you got to put that on it. That changed costumes during the intermission.
Maybe the funny thing is selling the disheveledness of the lead singer of The Cure gave you enough plausible deniability that you had to go back and reference instant replay, that it wasn't immediately obvious.
And I think The Cure was actually better than Depeche Mode. So he sold it better as The Cure.
Yeah.
I mean, the singing was horrible, both bands, but it was just like, it was entertaining.
Going into it, Chew, did you have a preference for the 2 bands, like hierarchy? Like, I'm more of a Cure fan than I am a Depeche Mode fan. So I would have been looking forward to the Cure portion of the program more than this other part of the show.
I think more people would know music from The Cure than they would from Depeche Mode.
So you were saying that the Depeche Mode should have opened for the Cure?
Yes, but I didn't know The Cure was going to be there. I thought it was just standalone Depeche Mode because we came in and The Cure. I'm like, this isn't Depeche Mode. They're like, oh, I forgot to tell you that The Cure is opening up for him.
Yeah, she didn't forget anything.
Which sparked the conversation of, shouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah, that is a good poll as well. Who should open if the 2 acts are playing together? All right, well, it sounds like you had a good time. Shockingly, Chew, that was not the only development from your weekend that got our eyebrows raised. We will get into the other thing this weekend that you sent us, that when we reminded you of it this morning on the production call, you said, what? Who said that? What are you talking about?
Oh, so I'm the guy. I had no idea. I'm not going to go back and look at my the text chain either.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
I want to see how this plays out.
Don't ruin it for the rest of us. Lots of stuff to get to this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Gabe is out all week, so Chewy and I will be holding down the fort, hanging out with Joshy and producer Will back there. Hey, Will, how's it going? Good, wave. Yep, that's fine. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Apparently, the Packers, the rest of the season, not a lot can change for the seeding in the NFC. You needed the Vikings to lose yesterday. You sort of needed Seattle to lose. Neither of those two things happened, so they're sort of locked into where they are. How should the Packers handle and address the rest of the season? We will get into that as Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on here on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Well, we start off with a couple of issues. First of all, an accident on 94 westbound at 35th Street. That is blocking the left lane. So we've got backup stretching back past 27th Street. Another accident on 27th Street southbound right at Rawson Avenue. That one has the right lane blocked. Other than that, for the most part, we're looking at a pretty good ride shaping up. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, morning clouds, then partly cloudy skies, a high of 50. Then tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Loziga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Austin here from our friends at Best Electric Service. An A-plus Better Business Bureau family owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, new LED in lighting, electric vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
College hockey returns to Fiserv Forum with the 4th annual Quick Trip Holiday Face-Off, December 28th and 29th.
The Wisconsin Badgers return to defend their title, facing the Ferris State Bulldogs in semifinal action on day one. The Yukon Huskies and Alaska Fairbanks Nanooks will battle for the other spot in the championship game.
Don't miss the college hockey action coming to Milwaukee and see who wins the championship on day 2. Secure your seats today at Ticketmaster.com.
Winter is here. Don't let your car care take a backseat. Protect your car against rust, salt, and grime this season at Tsunami Express Car Wash. Tsunami Express makes cleanup a breeze with their state-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and convenient unlimited wash memberships. Try their new best-in-class T2 with graphene wash for the ultimate long-lasting shine and protection. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Try your first wash free when you sign up online at TsunamiExpress.com.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Kringle, all I want for Christmas is you.
Dad!
What?
We talked about this. Yeah, your jingle for your Kringle entry last year was so lame that Racine Danish Kringle banned you from their contest.
I thought it was only a one holiday season ban.
It was a lifetime ban.
Well, I guess I'm out, but here's how you can enter our ESPN Wisconsin Racine Danish Kringle Jingle for Your Kringle contest on Wilde and Tausch. Submit your own original jingle to ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Then we'll pick the most creative songs, and our grand prize winner will get Kringle for a year. Make sure you include Racine Danish Kringle. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition in your jingle. If you don't want to sing, but you still want to celebrate the holidays with Racine Danish Kringle, call 800-4DANISH or visit Kringle.com and order their all-new Eggnog Holiday Kringle.
Racine Danish Kringle, such a tasty, yummy treat with a flaky crust and sweet icing. It's the best thing you can eat.
Oh, like that's so much better than mine.
Well, at least we're not off key.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Hey, everyone who I let try borscht likes it. They don't love it, but it's a liver.
What an endorsement.
This is your
but hold on.
Hey, yeah, guys, good luck. I don't even have to talk anymore.
On 94.5 ESPN.
here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Chewy, Jen, Joshy, and intern Will.
I just love him clearing his throat into the microphone.
I didn't think it was on yet.
You knew we were talking about you there, huh? Perfect. Chew, what did you think of the NFL weekend?
Yeah.
Do you watch the NFL weekend and like see how things are shaking out and how they'll benefit the Packers, or do you just sort of like pick and choose, cherry pick your way through the weekend?
I eyeballed it. I didn't really dive into one particular game, but I did watch Minnesota. I watched Philly. I watched Seattle. Minnesota's better than you think. Minnesota's better than Green Bay. Philly's better than Green Bay. This is not going to be a fun week. I have bad juju about this week. I really do. Because everyone thinks that Seattle's just a 500 team. They're better than that. Their offense is in the top 10. This is probably the toughest place to play. Seattle knows that they're not winning the Super Bowl, but they know that this is a big step for them in the progression on how to get back there. I just don't feel good about this week. I don't. It's huge letdown. It's the late game, obviously, right?
Yeah, it's the night game.
Do you guys feel good about it?
I would have felt better if Zach Charbonnet hadn't chewed up the yardage the way that he did in absence of Kenneth Walker. When I saw Kenneth Walker was out, I was like, okay, hopefully there's a drop-off, or maybe there'll be a drop-off, and there was none. And while we have talked about this, the Packers have been better against the run this year than they have in past seasons. I haven't checked this week's standings after all the games went final yesterday to see where they rank, but they were in the top 10 headed into last week's game against the Lions. That makes me a little nervous against the Seattle Seahawks. Chewy, your thing is more of letdown game, travel, and now the Packers really having nothing to play for because the division is locked up, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's mainly it. I don't know. It just has every makings of a letdown game, and like I said, I just do not feel great. Are you guys there with me? Did you watch?
Go ahead.
Did you watch Minnesota yesterday?
I didn't see any of the Minnesota game except for the score. But it sounds like, based on what I read, is Sam Darnold had a hell of a day, and you just said the Vikings are better than the Packers. Can you explain that to me? In what way?
Their two receivers are better than anything they have. They got a good tight end. Darnold's this whole thing of, Darnold's not going to have great games, but I think he's found a home there. Josh, you have to admit he played unbelievable yesterday. And say whatever you want against Atlanta, and Atlanta is still potentially a playoff team. No, they're not very good.
I mean, Kirk hasn't.
But that was a beatdown.
Kirk hasn't he has 8 interceptions to 0 touchdowns his past 5 games. He's very bad.
No, I know, but we can't keep beating up Minnesota and saying, "Oh, Green Bay. They're fine."
I'm trying. I pulled up the box score from the Green Bay Packers Vikings game from earlier this season. If Jordan Love doesn't throw 3 interceptions, guys, do they win that game?
Yes.
Yeah. Ugh. And then that's with Sam Darnold. Yes. But I guess I am looking towards a Jordan Love for the second half of the season that minimizes those turnovers. I am looking forward to a Jordan Love that does not throw 3 interceptions against the Vikings. So Sam Darnold could have the same performance and maybe a little bit better because he's gotten better as the season has gone on. But I still think that if Jordan doesn't throw those interceptions, this is a whole different situation we're talking about. We're going to have the conversation as the show goes on about the wide receivers for the Packers. It's tough for me to go apples to apples with the way that the Vikings use their wide receivers and the way that the Packers use their wide receivers. But we'll have that conversation a little bit later in the show. So you got bad juju headed into this game against Seattle. I don't yet. I don't feel bad about the game. I believe the Packers are favored by 2.5.
Yes.
I do think travel is a real thing. And Chew, you could speak to it more than I can, having done it, obviously, as a player. I do think you have to I do think you have to prep yourself mentally differently when you're making these types of road trips. Do you?
Yeah, I would think. Well, I don't know what kind of, when it comes to the yelling department, what kind of Coach LaFleur is, but I can tell you this: in our day, if we lost a tough game like that, Holmgren would smell a letdown, and this would not be a fun week of work. This week of work would be hell, all the way up until game time. We'd be getting yelled at. So, and you don't think that being the underdog is going to motivate Seattle a little bit?
I guess.
Are they in the lead in the West?
Yes.
So I think the thing that I'm most interested in, honestly, is this idea that that nothing will really change. I mean, could there be some percentage points as far as playoff probability? Sure, we saw the Packers had a 99% chance to make the playoff headed into this weekend's games, and now it's a 98% chance. So there might be these little shifts, but for the most part, the Packers are sort of locked into the spot that they're in. They will be a wild card team in the NFC, and they will go on the road for any sort of playoff run. That, I think, Chew, is what I am more interested in understanding. The mindset of a team when nothing you really do in the back half of the season, the last few games of the season, affects your seeding. Can you take me inside the mind of a team facing that?
Yeah, I don't think I don't like it because there's really, like you said, nothing to play for. Now, obviously, you do not want the 7 seed, right? The 7 seed probably means that you're going to Philly right out of the gate. I mean, you want to go to Seattle or you want to go to Tampa Bay, would be my guess. 7 seed or no. And I'm just looking at Washington's final game. So they have the Saints. You would think they would win that. Then the Eagles, you would think they would probably lose that, beat the Falcons, and then beat the Cowboys, right? So it's going to come down, I see, with Green Bay, 2 potential losses. I could see them losing to Seattle, and I can see them losing to Minnesota. So that would leave the 2 tied at the end of the day. I don't know how the tiebreaker would work out. How does it work for you're in the NFC, Joshy, but you're in different conferences when it comes to tiebreakers? Common opponent?
Different divisions? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
You're talking about like Seattle and the Lions?
No,
I'm
talking Green Bay and Washington. Green Bay, Washington. So Washington is behind 1 game to the Packers. I see 1 loss, 1 potential loss out of their last 4. I see 2 potential losses out of Green Bay's last 4. They both finish 10-7.
I'm guessing it's common opponent, but it could also be...
Or 11-6.
Joshy, I assume you're Googling it right now, checking to see what the tiebreaker situation is.
Yeah.
Because they didn't play head-to-head.
It's hard to figure out here because there's about 40,000 different things to look into. So I got to do deeper digging.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably like how's your record within the conference? What I would imagine is the next tiebreaker. If it's not like opponents.
It wouldn't be common opponents?
Well, he's checking.
Josh?
He's looking. You put him on the spot. He's working his way through it.
There's literally hundreds.
Well, I can do it right now. They both played the Cardinals. They both won. Did they play the Panthers? Doesn't matter. They both won. Beat the Bears, both of them. They both lost to the Eagles. So I don't know. But I can tell you this. You don't want to go to Philly right out of the gate.
So if 2 different divisions, they're tied, you would go head-to-head, best won-loss tied percentage in games played within the conference, best won-loss tied percentage in common games, strength of victory in all games, strength of schedule in all games, best combined ranking. So it goes within
conference record first.
Yes.
And then it goes to...
common games.
Common opponents.
Yes.
Okay. Does that help you?
Yeah, so these 2 games against NFC opponents are, Minnesota and Seattle I would think would be huge.
So that's what you would focus on. That's what you're saying. You would focus on We don't want to be the 7 seed. The more games we win, the more likely we can lock up the 5 seed, and the 5 seed puts us in a better spot to make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, because as a coach, you don't want your players thinking, we're a wild card team. We're not playing. You know what I mean? You just kind of go out flat at times. There's still a lot of juice to play for.
100%. And I'm just saying, like, human nature, right? Human nature is knowing now that the division cannot be won. I believe I saw less than 1%. Does that seem about right, guys? Less than 1% chance for the Packers to win the division. I think the Vikings still have a shot at it.
Correct.
So how do you overcome that human nature, which is we're still playing, we still have a chance to win the Super Bowl, we'd have to do it. Our road is a little tougher than we would have liked it to be. Just talk me through that, overcoming the human nature of taking your foot off the gas a little bit, looking at the Seattle game, recognizing all the things you mentioned, potential letdown game because you're coming off of the Lions loss, the travel out to Seattle, the fact that you cannot win the division. Like, talk me through, Chew, as a former NFL player, the pep talk you're giving yourself headed into this game against Seattle.
Well, that's what we're going to see, what kind of leadership they have in this locker room. You know, because like you said, all the things you listed off there are real things. And then you go from playing on Thursday night where the whole world is watching to, I don't know if this is a primetime game, but you know that as a player, like, all right, we're just another afternoon game. So there's juice that goes into that. You have to fight it, you know? It's like the Jets. The Jets, which is, I didn't realize this, they're now eliminated from the playoffs. How the hell do you get up for your next game then?
Can't believe we didn't play the celebration sounder there, Joshy.
Right? Chewy, I don't want to take anything away from you here, but I think it's also important to mention this is unprecedented. For a team to be as good as the Packers are with their record and totally dead in the division. The Vikings and the Lions have set themselves so far ahead.
With a month left to play.
Right. Rarely ever are 3 teams this good within the same division in the NFL. So, like, you kind of have to get creative if you're Matt LaFleur here, because you are still playing for stakes, and you could sell the, hey, we can ruin the Vikings' chances. We can make it very difficult on the Seahawks. We can make them not want to play us another time. Like, you kind of have to dive deep because it's not as simple as, you know, like it would normally be. Like, we're still alive here for the division.
So the last thing I will ask you, Chew, before we take a break here is, how do you handle scheme? How do you handle plays? How do you handle, like, if you want to save some of your stuff and you want to save, I don't know, certain packages, certain personnel packages, do you not show them then over the next few weeks? Do you kind of go status quo in these games? And, like, you do what you got to do to win the games, obviously, because wins create momentum. It is better than the alternative. But is there any part of you that goes a little more vanilla, knowing you're going to need to go into your bag of tricks to beat some of these teams in a postseason run?
Yeah, there is that danger because there's a chance that you play Seattle again. But, I mean, you still have to win this game. You know, because like I said a second ago, there is a huge difference between going to Tampa Bay and going to Philadelphia. That's huge. That should be enough to play for already. But you have a young team. We're at that point in the season where young guys run into a wall. I mean, Josh, you brought it up in the production meeting. Why did Jaden Reed only play 25 plays? Is that correct? Like, why?
That is correct.
Like, why?
What a tease by Mark Chmura, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about that as the show goes on.
But, Jen, I was looking, because I don't think this not having a number one, I don't think it's a good thing, because you look at Justin Jefferson, so far, he's at like 80 catches already. He's so far out in front. Amon St. Brown, same thing, way out in front. Now, Philly, they have 2 number ones, Devontae and Brown have.
Do you want to have the wide receiver conversation right now, Chew, or do you want to hold it for a little later in the show?
I'm just kind of setting it up because I did a little work before the show, and I just, I'm looking for a little pat on the back.
I love that. Here is your virtual pat on the back. For the research.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let's hold on to it. Let's talk about it when we get to the wide receiver segment, because I do think that there is something interesting brewing with the Packers wide receiver situation. Hey, all you sports bettors, if you are making your wagers at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you are missing out on an elite experience. It's a complete sports betting paradise, state-of-the-art venue with dozens of self-service betting kiosks, seating for more than 200 people, a first-class bar and restaurant, a VIP deck, and the broadcast booth, where we do the weekly weekly wager each and every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. They've really got it figured out. If you haven't been out there yet, what are you waiting for? It is the perfect time to start betting on your favorite teams. Bet above the rest only at Potawatomi.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Westbound 94, we got an accident just about at 35th Street. This is in the left lane, so it's making for a nasty ride from 20th Street all the way to that point. Eastbound is slowing down from before 84th Street all the way to 35th Street. The rest of the system, not too horribly bad, getting a little bit heavier on 41 southbound, south of Capitol Drive. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And check the TMJ4 Storm King forecast today. Morning clouds and partly cloudy skies, a high of 50. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low of 30. Weather's brought to you by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Always have a slice of summer by playing Pro Tour courses on one of their 12 simulators. Book a bay for just $35 Monday through Thursday. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
You've probably heard about employee stock ownership plans before, but what separates Fifth Third Bank from others when it comes to these plans? A succession plan that benefits business owners and employees. From full and partial sales, second stage transactions, repurchase obligation financing, and seller note refinancing, ESOPs can offer tax advantages, increased liquidity, employee incentives, and overall diversification of net worth to help your company plan for the future. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Kevin Moret from Mentality Health. Guys, do you know that the average free testosterone level we see in men is just a third of what it should be? Try doing your day with only a third of the energy, strength, and drive that you need with a third of the hormone that drives it. Drained energy, lack of motivation, you won't recognize yourself. We can fix that. Our doctors work closely with you to restore back 100% free testosterone. Nothing will change until you do. Book your $55 blood test today to find out how you stack up at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
So overrated.
Come on, his head is a pumpkin.
Yeah, he's so right. Chewy's never been more right about anything.
Chewy was right. Yeah. Holy, Chewy was right.
Yeah.
Imagine the helmet on that dome. It'd be the first 8.5 size. What the?
On 94.5 ESPN.
To say,
The rivalry between the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions continues to heat up. Did you guys see how Reed got roasted this past week by Jameson Williams? Jameson Williams commenting about how he didn't even realize that Jaden Reed had gone to the game in Detroit on Thursday night because of the numbers he posted. 0 receptions for 0 yards, which got us thinking, what's going on with Jaden Reed? What's going on with the way that these snaps are shaking out? Is he fallen out of favor with the coaches, with the people who are drawing up the plays and drawing up the way that they're going to distribute the ball? It's very unusual, Chew, because at the beginning of the season, we thought that Jaden Reed had potential, albeit his smaller size and mostly being a slot receiver, to be the number one guy. He makes incredible plays out there. But there are some knocks on him. Joshy, you said the one knock that you noticed watching him this season is what?
Jaden Reed struggles against man coverage. All teams who prefer that style versus a zone, Jaden Reed has seen precipitous declines in his production. And I think it's largely in part not being able to get off the line. And that's why he was working with Dontavian Wicks on route running and getting open, because he relies on finding the soft parts of zones as instead of just simply beating the man in front of him.
Is he a gadget player? And what I mean by that is he a jet sweep guy? It's like you said, Josh, he's not real good against man, so they got to kind of put him together like a puzzle. Where Devontae, who's a Hall of Famer, had no weaknesses. I'm starting to fall out of favor with this. Everyone is the same kind of receiver.
I don't think gadget is fair, because gadget to me is like more of a guy that only relies on end arounds and screens. Like a guy like Jaden Reed can win downfield, and he oftentimes plays bigger than he actually is when he is like given contested catch situations. It's just, I mean, very clearly teams are planning to not get beat by Jaden Reed. Like that's part of the game plan. And in his second year, is it surprising to see a young guy maybe struggle when there's extra attention paid to him? I don't think it's that crazy. I think that means Jaden Reed has to improve, has to keep getting better. And maybe he's hit that second-year wall a little bit, but I'm not going to say he's a gadget player.
Yeah, here's what I'm worried about, you. I'm worried about not trusting my eyes. I watched Jaden Reed, watched him in college, obviously watched him for the last few seasons with the Packers. I think he's a star. I understand that he's not like the biggest guy. I understand he's not like an AJ Green. I understand that he isn't going to go out there and out-physical the guy across the line from him. But, man, is he going to make some moves? And, man, if he gets in some open space, is he going to be a threat every time to find the end zone? And I just can't imagine not having a premium spot for him in your play calling every week. Now, I understand. We talked about this at the beginning of the season. Having a bunch of guys who are good is going to mean that some days guys don't get any targets. And we were complimenting Christian Watson a few weeks ago for handling not being a part of the game plan well. Right? Oh, here's a guy, he could complain. Here's a guy who could absolutely, become disgruntled based on how he's been used. But we were like, good on you, Christian Watson. You weren't a part of the game plan, but you've handled your business and you have been a good teammate, a good soldier. Do we need to just consider that for Jaden Reed this past week and let Matt LaFleur cook? He'll be a part of the offense. He'll be a part of the game plan going forward. It just wasn't his week. Is it as simple as that, Chew?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's a number 2 at best right now. He's not a 1. And if you look at there's only one guy out there that is trending towards potentially being a star. One guy. One. Tucker Kraft. That's it. Jaden Reed, I think, regressed from last year. Christian Watson has regressed. Dobbs has regressed. Wicks has or plateaued. If you don't want to say regress, they've all plateaued. No one jumped out in front. Josh?
Well, Jaden Reed had jumped out in front, and we, for a few weeks into the season, we're saying, the number 1 wide receiver was just Jaden Reed all along, and he had performances to start that were very clearly obvious. I think Christian Watson has shown signs of improvement in that he's not just winning based purely on speed within his routes and within his catches, but they're all kind of in the meaty middle, and at best, you're looking at a bunch of, wide receiver 2s right now, which I think is an issue. Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. I'll give you some wide receiver 2s. Who's better, Jaden Reed or Addison?
Addison.
Who's better, Jamison Williamson or Jaden Reed?
You could say Jamison.
I mean, see what I'm saying? I mean, I think we all thought, even going back to training camp, like, Jamison was. I don't think Addison was he?
I'm pretty sure he was as well. Yeah.
He was?
So I just want to do some housekeeping here. Jamison Williams.
Yes.
That's son. And I believe I said AJ Green, and I meant AJ Brown. So we are just all over the place with the names.
There's another one. Who's the second receiver there in Philly?
Devonta Smith.
Is he better than Jaden Reed?
Yeah.
I mean, is this what they are? Because like I said, we all expect someone to – we didn't think all of them were going to – the cream rise to the top. But there ain't no cream, and it certainly ain't at the top. I think the potential – do you guys agree with me, though? The potential star is Tucker Kraft?
I think he already is a star.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's signed, sealed, and delivered. That guy is he is going to be the stalwart at that position, and if you get anything out of Luke Musgrave at this point, you're just happy with it. The one star that I'm still believing the potential is Dontavian Wicks. He gets open at the highest rate in the NFL still.
A lot of balls.
Sure. He did.
Josh,
he caught 4 out of 5 the last time he was
balls.
out there, though.
So, Chew, how would you use Jaden Reed? That's, I think, what we're trying to nail down here. Because it felt like last week he was not being used effectively. Last week it felt like he was...
Not at all.
Correct, yes. And I do agree that there will be times when guys have a light load. There will be times when guys are just not featured as part of the game plan. I don't understand why a guy like Jaden Reed wouldn't be, given how dynamic, given what a difference maker he has been at times. And it's not even at times. I don't want to make it seem like it's sporadic. I think that when he is targeted, he makes plays, especially downfield. I don't love all the backfield stuff for him. I don't love all of that, but I know it's a part of the offense that Matt LaFleur runs.
I look at it like this, Jen. In order for them to go anywhere, the offense has to play much better. The defense is what it is. The defense is always going to give up points in the 20s, sometimes in the 30s, if they're playing a good team.
They're averaging 30 points per game since the bye, Chew.
No, I know that. Who? You're saying Detroit?
The Packers.
I know, but look at the stats. Go to the stat sheet. It just doesn't... Like, if you gave me the stat sheet before the game, I would say Detroit won by 14. 298 offense. For us, for a good offensive performance, Jen, a good offensive performance for a game is 350 yards. That is good. That's what you should get if you are a good offense. A great offense gets 400 yards.
I think the issue in that game came down to the first 3 possessions. The issue for the Packers in the game against the Lions was the first 3 possessions. Joshy, what'd they go?
I believe it was 3 and out. Well, I don't remember.
It was like punt.
Yeah.
Maybe field goal or something like that. I got to go back. Fumble. Thank you.
Yes.
The Christian Watson fumble.
There's important context here that we need to remember. Jaden Reed wasn't as large a part of the game plan because the Lions were weak in their defensive front. They had so many injuries that they went a little bit bigger more often. Jaden Reed, not as good of a blocker as Dontavian Wicks and Christian Watson. That's mostly because of his size limitations. Like, the Packers being efficient on offense, it sounds like you're trying to make it a bad thing for them, Chewy, but Josh Jacobs is a huge part of the offense. They get short fields and they convert on it, and then they're liable to rip off a 50-yard pass at any given moment. Like,
yeah, but in order to play that kind of game where you go 50 run, 50 pass, right? You're not going to beat an explosive offense. You're not going to beat Detroit, you know? You're not going to beat Philly. I just want to see them do – you know what I want to see them do? I want to see them do what Minnesota did to Atlanta yesterday and say whatever you want, you know, about Kirk Cousins and all that. They put up 42. That was an ass-kicking, right? The defense is going to be what it is. I just don't –
Right, but you're asking.
You can hold on, Joshy. What I'm saying is, you can run this kind of offense with a 10th ranked defense, right? But these possessions, like when you play a team like Detroit, man, you got to score on a lot of possessions.
Yeah, I agree, but the problem I see here is like you're asking the Packers to be something they're clearly not.
Yeah, I know. But why aren't they? But why are they not? Why are they not?
Because
tell me why they're not.
Receivers haven't emerged.
Thank you.
Because Jordan Love for the first half of the season didn't play up to his potential.
Was injured?
Yes. So like there's a bunch of mitigating factors. Also, Josh Jacobs is just a flat out star. So the less touches he's getting, you would think is like a downgrade.
It's like what we say on College Game Day, guys, okay? Are you taking the ball out of Reese Davis's hands? Right? Like you could have other people handle stuff, or you could just let him cook. And that's why Reese Davis handles a 3-hour show, right? You don't got a bunch of other people out there picking up segments. You don't got a bunch of other people out there handling those things because you know you're going to get, and that's how Josh Jacobs is for this Green Bay Packers team, right?
Well, you know what would be equally as entertaining? Jen?
Tell me.
If you gave the keys to Lee Corso.
Okay. We're pivoting off.
I mean, that's kind of Depeche Mode Cure.
Yeah,
I think that would be equally as entertaining. So if you were going to take the ball up.
I don't know why you went outside of the house. It'd be like giving the keys to you on this program.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, it's bad enough when I don't have the keys.
Jaden Reed's targets week by week, guys. 1 last week, 6 the previous, 3, 2, 6, 3, 4, 6, 6, 8, 6, 2, 6. Some of those games, Jordan Love not under center. We know earlier in the year, obviously, he was injured and Malik Willis was handling the quarterbacking duties. Do those numbers seem right? I think he's averaging like 4.5 targets per game. Chew, when you think about guys who have handled that position, if you want to limit him to the slot, that's fine. Does that seem about right distribution for Jaden Reed, or does it feel low to you?
Some of it feels low. Some of it feels right on.
So you think he should be getting, what, 6
I think if
per
that's
game?
your guy.
8 per game? What do you think, ideally?
I mean, I'll go back to Antonio Freeman. Free probably got 10 targets every game. You know, he's your horse, so you ride your horse. Jaden Reed's not a horse.
The Packers have also had problems with offensive plays. They just haven't run enough. And if you're as balanced as they are, those targets start to shrink. So what would be in a more conventional offense, or one we're used to with Aaron Rodgers that's throwing 35 plus
to
times
Devontae?
a game? Yeah.
Yeah,
So like those numbers all shrink.
10 or 12. No, I agree. But why do they shrink? Because your defense can't get off the damn field.
You nailed it. And then the Packers generally score pretty efficiently when they do score.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not saying they're a bad team. I'm just saying there's better teams than the Packers out there right now. There's better teams.
And we're talking specifically about the offense. Is that what you're talking about? There are better offenses out there right now in the NFC than the Packers?
Most times when you go into the playoffs, the better team wins.
Really?
Right? Like I said it last week. I said, can the Packers beat Detroit? Yes. Can they beat Yes. Can they beat Philly? Yes. Can they beat KC? Yes. Can they beat the Ravens? Yes. They can't do it 3 weeks in a row on the road.
I'm gonna pull up some explosive play rates for the NFL. I'm going to pull them up during the break because it feels to me, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, it feels to me watching the Packers this season, Jaden Reed is your explosive play threat. And I feel like the Packers, I could be wrong on this is just my gut, I haven't pulled up the stats yet. I feel like the Packers are one of the best teams in the league. Maybe not the best, but I believe they are probably top 5, top 10 for sure in explosive plays on offense. And if you can get that production from other guys, if you can get those plays from other guys, great. And then Matt LaFleur has to do the brilliant coaching that he has been doing of telling guys, Chew, you've mentioned this before when it comes to Holmgren. I couldn't get you today, but I'll get you next time. And as long as he keeps doing that with the wide receiving core and with the pass catchers and nobody gets disgruntled, I agree that I'd like to see Jaden Reed be getting more targets with this offense. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you could argue, well, it is broke. They lost to the Lions. Sure, but they're still one of the best teams in the NFC. And I think we knew going into the season that one of the tougher things for Matt LaFleur to do was figure out how to distribute the ball amongst all of those pass catchers. So I'm a little bit intrigued by the Jaden Reed thing. I would like to see him get more targets. I would like to see him being used more in the game plan. I think he's a difference maker. But I also am inclined to believe Matt LaFleur's scheme and what he's putting together, knowing that on any given day, any one of these guys could pop and have a game. We're going to take a break on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I'm going to look up those explosive play rates and see where the Packers rank. And we will be right back after this. First, let me tell you guys about my friends over at Quintessa Aesthetic Center. Are you looking for a holiday gift for somebody that is hard to shop for? Maybe it's your wife. Maybe it's your mother. Maybe it's your mother-in-law. Quintessa Aesthetic Center, guys, offers everything that the woman in your life will love. And you can also do the Quintessa Aesthetic Center gift cards for yourself. Here's why. For every $100 gift card that you buy right now, you will get a $20 bonus card. Maybe you buy the $100 gift card for your wife or your mother or your mother-in-law or your sister, and then you keep the $20 gift card for yourself. And you go check out Quintessa Aesthetic Center and see what they have to offer. Tons of stuff available on their website that you can check out. But this is the time of year, guys, when everybody gets stressed because of the hustle and the bustle. So being pampered helps you feel confident, helps you feel refreshed, helps you feel relaxed when everything else is threatening to unravel you. Visit myquintessa.com today to check out that gift card offer. $100 gift cards, and you'll get a $20 gift card free. And tell them Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy sent you.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Kevin Moret for Mentality Men's Health. I know that a guy's confidence comes from many sources. For our clients, the way they look is a big driver. When you have the muscle mass and the muscle tone, it changes the way you carry yourself. Did you know that 70% of Mentality clients have increased muscle mass and muscle tone through testosterone and peptide therapy? Their confidence is back and everyone can see it. If you want to recapture the way you look and felt years ago, join the over 25,000 clients and start today. Go to mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Monica, what delightful surprise do you have for us this Christmas?
I've been waiting all day for your big reveal. Take a look and tell me what you see. Oh, that's gorgeous.
I see the North Star, that guiding light that always lets you know where you are.
The North Star is important to you?
Sitting directly above the axis of the Earth, it's the only star in the sky that never moves. It's always there for you.
Sarah? I see the star that stood high over Bethlehem 2,000 years ago.
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might.
Monica, it's fabulous.
Nicole Lasker designed it.
I love her.
What's it called?
The Star of Hope. We have them in sterling silver with 4 diamonds for just $198. And in white gold with bigger and bigger diamonds at prices up to $19.98.
I love it.
I love it even more than Rick does.
The Star of Hope.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
The president of James Imaging Systems, Tom Tegeter.
Over 45 years ago, my father, James Tegeter, founded our company on a cornerstone of quality, integrity, and service as the best way of connecting with clients. As I reflect on 2024, I'm grateful for the James Imaging Systems team. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to always connecting with clients and helping them thrive. To each long-term client, I extend my gratitude and thanks for your confidence and support. We look forward to remaining connected to you as your local business technology partner. I also appreciate our new 2024 clients for connecting with us. Welcome to the James Imaging Systems family. Looking forward to 2025, I believe if each of us embraces the power of connection, our local community will prosper. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and God bless America.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards scoring courtside seats for your favorite team. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can score courtside seats. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but courtside seats can be astronomical. Maybe if your team plays in a smaller market, you could swing it. Even still, it's unlikely. Maybe fourth row, which are still incredible seats that you'll enjoy greatly. Savings possible. Courtside, long shot. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Progressive cannot guarantee that someone really tall will not sit in front of you at the game, rendering your excellent seats just okay.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and sauté. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
He sounds like the Beatles.
What? Anyone?
This is a new one on me.
Listen to
I
his
don't
interview,
know.
the way he talks. He sounds like Paul McCartney. Ringo farted and it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
On 94.5 ESPN.
It started with a whisper, and now it's when I kissed her, and then she made my lips hurt.
Want to take you behind the curtain a little bit here, folks. Behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz style. Inside baseball, as they say in the sports space. We're having our production meeting this morning, and Joshy says, oh, and don't forget, we've got the conversation about the greatest sauce known to man. And Chewy says, what is? Joshy and I look at each other and go, huh? And Chewy says, what is the greatest sauce known to man? I said, stop right there. We'll talk about it on the air. Chew, do you not remember sending us a text message at 8:20 p.m.? Now, I believe that's Central, so 9:20 p.m. on Saturday night saying, you want to talk about the greatest sauce known to man? McDonald's sweet and sour sauce. I don't want to hear any discussion about it. I'm in a panel of 8 people. Everyone here says it's the best.
Do you agree?
100%. But
It is the best.
You don't even remember sending that to us.
No. I don't know why I said that either. I don't know what I was eating Saturday night.
I would envision it
How
was
would I
chicken
do on
nuggets.
Saturday night?
Chicken tenders, maybe?
Yeah.
Do you have some tendies?
No, Angie's one of those people that, when you go to a fast food place and you have the leftover ketchup and you have the leftover barbecue sauce, she puts that all in the fridge. Basically for me to throw away after about a year, right? And there just happened to be some sweet and sour sauce, and it's the GOAT. I think it's the GOAT.
I agree.
Is it specifically McDonald's sweet and sour
a million
sauce?
percent. Knockoffs are terrible. The Burger King one, the other places that try to do even the Chick-fil-A Polynesian sauce, it's fine.
Yes.
It's fine, to quote Gabe Neitzel, but it is not the GOAT, which is the sweet and sour sauce from McDonald's.
Now, another great one, which just doesn't add up. When you go to a Chinese restaurant and they give you the hot mustard in the little canister, does not match up with what they put in the packet
100%.
for you to go and go.
Totally
and I don't
agree.
know why they do that, because that is another outstanding sauce.
So speaking of, Joshy, you have a contender for the greatest sauce of all time, which is similar to the hot mustard from the Chinese place.
I think a yum yum sauce is as elite as it comes. It's usually reserved mostly for hibachi, but I think it needs to branch out, and I think we need to bring it into other things more often. Like any form of chicken, it's perfect for.
I think that's a great suggestion.
It's also not far from the
what is
Chick-fil-A
yum yum?
sauce either.
It's like a mayonnaise based, right?
Yeah.
We've got a bottle of Yum Yum sauce in our refrigerator because Dario loves it so much that he went and bought a bottle.
What is Yum Yum? I've never heard of it.
I mean, how great are you? How confident are you in your product that you don't even come up with a name?
Mm-hmm.
You just call it Yum Yum sauce. Why did you call it Yum Yum? Well, because it's yummy. It's yummy.
It's mayo, ketchup,
Where do you
vinegar,
get it?
garlic, sugar, paprika, and a little bit
See,
of
I don't want to know what's in the sauces. I just want to enjoy the sauces.
I was to say, I bet if you looked up what's in your sweet and sour, it would be even worse.
You'd enjoy it a little less.
Where do you guys put A1?
Nowhere.
A1's legit.
I like an A1.
What if
Keep it away from me.
A1 is outstanding?
No need for it.
Why?
It's just
Why? The steak should stand alone?
I don't think it's that.
The steak
special.
doesn't always stand alone.
Well, that seems like a skill issue.
No, 100% Shoe. Because if you go to a diner and you get steak and eggs, you know you're not getting carnivore-esque steak, right?
Yes.
You know you're getting a
Why get steak there anyways?
I love a steak and eggs. So that's when the A1 sauce, Chew, really comes in clutch.
Yes.
Right?
I
Diner,
agree.
breakfast, throw a little hot sauce on there as well, mix up the two. I mean, it doesn't look pretty. Right? Because you got the red and you got the brown and you got the egg. And it's not a pretty picture, but it is delicious.
I've never once in my life gone for the steak and eggs. I don't think I've ever
Speaking of
ordered it.
steak, there was an accident this weekend. They got a little out of control and they burnt my house. So I had to paint part of the outside of the house.
When you say they,
Happens.
it feels like a me thing. Do you mean me?
I guess, but I'm the only one that cooks around here, so I should get a pass. Instead of getting yelled at because the side of the house was charcoal black.
They,
I had to paint over it.
meaning me. I love that. I'm going to start using that more often. What happened to the bumper of your car? Oh, they backed into a pole. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound 43, a tough ride right now. Left lane is blocked right at 9th Street with a crash. So that's got backups back from before Silver Spring to that point. Westbound 94, still heavy from about 16th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. On the eastbound side, very heavy out of the Zoo Interchange all the way to about 35th Street. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. This season, try their newest holiday pastry, Eggnog Kringle. Go to kringle.com to order or call 800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, morning clouds, then afternoon, partly cloudy skies, a high of 50. Then tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 30. Weather is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
X-Golf at American Family Field is a golf simulator experience you have not had before. Maybe you've been to other X-Golfs and you have been able to see the state-of-the-art simulators. Maybe you can go out there and get a lesson with my guy, Andy Barrett. But what makes X-Golf at American Family Field special, unique, is the space. It is great to go and play around when you have time in the middle of the day, take advantage of some of their lunch specials that they have out there. But the event space is what's really cool and unique. So if you're looking for a great space for that next event, X-Golf at American Family Field should be the spot. Check them out online, xgolfamfamfield.com.
Ready for a game changer? Now's the time to take your shot with Quartz, your local provider-owned and affordable health insurance. You can choose from a range of benefits to best support you and your family. Quartz is a proud partner of Aurora Healthcare, so you get to stay in the network you love. Visit quartzbenefits.com or call Saganiac Planning 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Quartz branded health plans are offered by Quartz Health Benefit Plans Corporation, Quartz Health Plan Corporation, and Quartz Health Insurance Corporation, which are separate legal entities. The Saganiac Planning Marquette Records. Coaches have always said, you got to make your free throws. They would have loved the 2017-18 Marquette team that, as a team, shot better than 80%. How? Marcus Howard missed 7, made 105. Andrew Rousey missed 19, made 175. Sam Hauser missed 10, made 51. And Matt Held, he missed 4 and made 28. A team better than 80% from the line. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Do we need a late summer field trip downtown with the Blammer?
I would love nothing more. I would clear my calendar for the whole day.
Oh my God! This was in our bed.
What is this? A prophylactic wrap-up?
Okay, because I don't think he's available to August because I got him grounded on the 4th.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you got him grounded on the 4th?
Yeah.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
What is this doing on my bed?
I don't know. You were having sex on our bed? Yes.
And he was supposed to go to a party and didn't go, so we're looking at a 3-weeker.
You gave him too many Blammers?
They either evaporated or he drank them. I have no idea. All I know is I just kept filling the glass up.
Who told you could have sex in our bed?
Well, my bed is too small. Your bed is too small? I'm gone 2 weeks and you turn our house into Bourbon Street? That's it. You're grounded.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing nothing but.
Last week, Mark Chamara was ranting about the college football playoff and teams like SMU and Boise State, maybe Arizona State, we didn't really talk about them extensively, getting into the college football playoff field and getting a first-round bye. Now, that is not the case for SMU. They'll be taking on Penn State in the first round. But Boise State and Arizona State did, in fact, get first-round byes when the committee released their playoff rankings, their final rankings, and the playoff bracket yesterday. Chew, I imagine you saw the college football playoff bracket. Were you as frustrated yesterday about Boise State and Arizona State getting those first-round byes as you were last week when you were thinking it could happen?
Probably just the problem with Boise, because I don't think they belong in the top 4. Now, I watched Arizona State dismantle Iowa State. They looked the part. They had one of their better players who didn't play in the game.
Oh, right. They lost their wide receiver.
Yeah. But they look good. I'll be interested to see what they do. I think it was the right decision in booting Alabama because SMU did play Clemson very well. So I really don't have a problem with it.
Really?
I just don't like how they no, I just don't like how they come to the Final Four, because I would say Arizona State, yes, Oregon, Georgia, and my other number 1, Notre Dame can't go in, right, Jen? Because they don't play a conference championship game?
It can't be a top 4, correct. There are some people who think that Notre Dame will be in the title game based on this bracket. I saw a lot of college football experts projecting Notre Dame to be in the college football national title game.
And I think that matches up with the FPI, basically on strength and opponents and like how they think how likely they are. They have one of the best percent odds to actually end up in the final.
Here's my beef with yesterday's bracket, guys. Why is it so much harder for the number 1 team than it is for, say, I don't know, I'll throw it out there, the number 6 team? Oregon and Penn State played head-to-head in the Big Ten championship game. I don't think it was as close as it ended up looking. I thought that Oregon was the better team out there. Drew Aller threw the interception late on the sideline. That ultimately sealed the deal as Oregon went on to just, move the chains one time and they won the game. Penn State is the 6th seed because they're the second Big Ten team. They couldn't be much higher than that. I guess you could have argued they could have been the 5, but the committee said that because Texas was ahead of Penn State headed into this in the Penn Ultimate Rankings, Chew, they didn't feel like Penn State had done enough to jump them. So Penn State has Boise State first round, home game at Beaver Stadium. If they beat Boise State, they have SMU. If they beat SMU, they move on to Boise State. That to me feels, and I know I'm not trying to minimize any of these teams' accomplishments this season, but that to me feels like a hell of a path compared to Oregon, which gets the first round bye and has to face the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee. Am I wrong in feeling like the number 1 team in the country got the toughest road in this playoff bracket?
Yeah, because I could see them playing Texas in the semis, right? I mean, Texas is going to beat Clemson. I don't think Clemson's that great.
No, they're not. They snuck in by winning on that field goal. It was like a 50-plus yard field goal to beat SMU, to win the ACC, and you got to put them in because they're a conference winner, but you see how the committee feels about them. They gave them the 12.
What if you, Jen, let me just spitball this. What if you took the top 4, 1 to 4, and number 1 gets to tell you where they want to be?
Like you're proposing that the number 1 gets to pick
Oregon,
their path?
you got the first pick. You want to play Clemson, Texas, Tennessee, Ohio State, SMU, Penn State, or Indiana, Notre Dame. Then number 2.
This is a famous Mark Tauscher proposal for all playoffs where you get to pick your path. It's hard for me to figure out what's the right way to do this, because if you eliminate the byes being to the conference champions that are the highest ranked, you probably smooth that out a little bit and just give it to the top 4 ranked teams get a bye. Because I think I saw somebody tweet it out. It basically makes better games and better situations. But should the committee be looking at it? Well, if we rank XYZ team here, it actually looks pretty hard for Oregon versus Penn State. Isn't their job to rank the teams the way that the parameters are set, and then how it falls is how it falls?
Yeah, and some of this is because those teams, Boise State and Arizona State, have to get the first round buys as 4 of the conference champs. And so I agree with you. I don't know what the solution is other than what Chewy is saying, which is, hey, you're the number 1 team. Congratulations on that. As a reward, pick your path. You know, choose your own adventure.
I suppose.
You could.
Just based upon,
go ahead, Chew.
Just based upon the eye test, who do you think, and take the the conference winners out of it, who do you think should be in the top 4? Oregon, Notre Dame.
It's probably for me. Yep, go ahead.
Texas, right?
It's probably for me. Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame, Georgia. Those are probably for me. Like if I had to go down to Potawatomi today and they said put some money on some teams, those are probably the teams that I would put money on because I've watched them play and I think they're the toughest teams. You know, one of the big conversations, guys, is none of these teams are perfect, right? You don't have a juggernaut team.
No.
I mean, even as good as Oregon has played, we watched that Wisconsin game, Oregon, and Wisconsin had them on the ropes until the fourth quarter just because they played really good defense. Again, I don't know what the perfect solution is. It just, when I'm standing in Happy Valley and I'm interviewing James Franklin and I ask him, do you see this as a favorable path? And he says, to be honest with you, we haven't broken down film on SMU yet to be able to tell you whether or not they're a, favorable opponent. Okay, fair enough. Good answer. Diplomatic. I appreciate it. But my eye test is telling me Penn State should be able to, again, this is Drew Aller contingent. They should be able to move pretty easily, especially with that defense that they have, through the first 2 rounds.
In terms of outcome, and maybe this is James Franklin and Penn State history here, wouldn't that be the least shocking upset to happen in that first week of the playoffs? Just with
what, SMU
history.
Penn State?
Yes, like SMU winning that game.
Yeah, because James Franklin can't win a big game.
Exactly.
When's the last big game he's won? He's never won a big game.
It's like Ohio State 2000 something, like 17. I don't know. Again, we talked about it on College Football Live on Friday. I think he's 1-5 against top 5 team, 1-7 or something crazy like that. He's won 1 game against top 5 teams in his career as head coach. So, Chew, right now today, who would you pick if you had to go down to Potawatomi? I'm going to give you $100. Who would you pick to be your national champion?
Ohio State.
What? Really?
Ohio State. They played Oregon tough. They choked in that game. They probably should have won.
It was bad clock management at the end of the game. Yes, that was a big deal.
They choked against Michigan, where they were clearly the better team.
Yes, that was very, very bad.
Right? Well, Jen, let me ask you this peripheral question. If Ohio State loses to Oregon, do they fire Ryan Day?
I said after the Michigan game that I thought they needed to make a deep playoff run in order for him to keep his job. It does not bode well that he has to go up against the number 1 team should they get a win in week 1 in the first round. He's such a good coach, guys.
I mean, is it just because of the money? Is it just because of the money?
Well, yeah, what did I tell you? His buyout is $35 million.
$37 million?
Yeah, I mean, and I told you, in this NIL day and age, programs are not interested in spending that money on buyouts when they could spend that money to build their roster. So I will tell you this, though. It was a $20 million roster this season that lost to Michigan, so did not work out all that well. Joshy, who you got? Who would you take if I gave you $100 right now? You could triple your money on some of these picks. Who would you take to win the national title?
I think it's Oregon. I think they've proven themselves to be the far and away leader, and then the next one I would pick after that would be Notre Dame. Just because the way their schedule shakes out there. I think being on that bottom half is clearly a benefit to whoever comes out. And I think having the bye is going to be bigger than people are accounting for right now. Like having that extra game off, especially for young kids like that, is going to be a huge
don't
benefit.
Play until New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Those teams Go ahead.
Are the quarterfinals home field or is that a neutral site?
Home field advantage. First time ever. In fact, when I was at Penn State yesterday, the game against SMU will be the first December game at Beaver Stadium with fans. Now, remember, in the COVID year, 2020, there were some December games because the season started so late, and then the Big Ten played like 6 games. It pushed into December. In 45 years. In 45 years, 1979 was the last time that Beaver Stadium hosted a game in December with fans in the stands. So it'll be a great environment, right? That'll be cool to have Tennessee and Clemson. Who's hosting there? It's Ohio State. The game's in Columbus. Yeah. And Texas is hosting, and then Notre Dame is hosting. And what a game that'll be! Notre Dame, Indiana. How many miles separate those two?
Google it.
It's like I'm guessing here. It's like 200, like maybe less.
Don't sleep on Indiana. I'm telling you.
Oh, jeez.
Your don't sleeps have been so off this year. It is preposterous. You can't keep throwing out don't sleep. You've lost don't sleep rights.
Let me just say this. Did I use don't sleep on Atlanta?
Did you use it famously?
Yes.
It ain't over yet.
I'm still in a coma.
He's like Sleeping Beauty over here, waiting for Prince Charming to come and wake him up. Okay?
I just hope there's no tape of me saying don't sleep on the Jets because they're sleeping.
You did use that. Also, you predicted Aaron Rodgers would be MVP.
You did do that. Thank you for reminding me of that, Joshy. Wow, he's right. You don't have don't sleep on rights anymore. They've been revoked.
Yeah, next offseason you can use don't sleep. Until then,
I need another term.
800-990-3776 if you want to weigh in on the college football playoff bracket. Who you think has the best chance and best road, best path to the national championship? 800-990-3776. We talk about Professional Construction Inc. here on the show because they are exceptional at what they do. I should know, we've had them over to our house a number of times to help us with remodeling projects or home additions or just the things that we can't handle on our own. Mike and Michelle operate a family-owned company. They believe in building relationships and doing great work on your projects. Go to their website. It's professionalconstructioninc.com. Professionalconstructioninc.com is where you can see some pictures of jobs that they have done. Get some inspiration of jobs they can do for you. And you can tell them that Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy sent you.
Never miss out on a second of the show. Find Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. Sponsored by Celsius Essential Energy Drink.
Southbound 43, a tough ride right now. Left lane is blocked right at 9th Street with a crash. So that's got backups back from before Silver Spring to that point. Westbound 94, still heavy from about 16th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. On the eastbound side, very heavy out of the Zoo Interchange all the way to about 35th Street. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. This season, try their newest holiday pastry, Eggnog Kringle. Go to kringle.com to order or call 800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Morning clouds, then afternoon partly cloudy skies, a high of 50. Then tonight mostly cloudy, a low of 30. Weather is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Get ready for the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the 300K season finale giveaway at Potawatomi. Friday, December 20th, watch your entries from Bird Bash, Cash Clash, and Winter Stash. All pile into one massive drawing for a chance at up to 50 grand cash. Be there to win your share. December 20th, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/finale. Must be 21 years old to play.
Kevin Moret from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, I know you hate to feel weak. That means something different for every guy, but for most guys, it means the way they look and move through their day. Did you know that 70% of Mentality clients see an increase in their muscle mass, their muscle tone, and the way they look? This means our clients got their confidence back. If you're looking to look and feel the way you did years ago, join the over 25,000 guys at Mentality and get your confidence back. Go to mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here with Brad Nortman, and we've got a holiday deal from Quintessa Aesthetic Center that you don't want to miss.
That's right, Jen. The holidays are coming up fast, and if you're looking for the perfect gift for that special woman in your life, or maybe you're interested in checking out Quintessa for yourself, we've got you covered.
Now, through December 20th, for every $100 gift card you buy, you'll get a $20 bonus card. It's a once-a-year deal to make her holiday unforgettable or treat yourself.
Visit myquintessa.com today to grab this special offer.
Hey guys, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel here to give you some advice. If you're making plans to propose to that special someone in your life, the Jewelry Center has to be your stop for the ring. It's what I did. They're the best place to shop for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee for a reason. I didn't know what to get, but with help of a Pinterest board, the Jewelry Center and their team of specialists took care of everything from start to finish. Naturally mined diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, whatever you're in the market for, when it comes to an engagement ring, the Jewelry Center has it. Find locations and inventory online at shoptjc.com.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here. 'Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them this holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. From a spectacular brunch with Santa to the holiday marketplace and one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences, St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week through the holiday season. Make a night of it and extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at St. Kate. Special packages are now available. Celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays.
College hockey returns to Fiserv Forum with the 4th annual Quick Trip Holiday Face-Off, December 28th and 29th.
The Wisconsin Badgers return to defend their title, facing the Ferris State Bulldogs in semifinal action on day one. The Yukon Huskies and Alaska Fairbanks Nanooks will battle for the other spot in the championship game.
Don't miss the college hockey action coming to Milwaukee and see who wins the championship on day 2. Secure your seats today at Ticketmaster.com.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
And guess who didn't hit the hole? Zeke Elliott.
Ashton.
Well, I mean, yes. Yeah, right back there?
That's so true.
It was a direct shot. She took out the sniper rifle and just...
She got right up to me, took out a Glock, and just shot.
Yeah, right in the balls.
On 94.5 ESPN.
But I'm thinking it's time for a change. Get out of your lane.
Oh, look at that. The New York Jets lost again. I, for one, am devastated. It's a terrible turn of events. That Jets organization, they were on the cusp, Joshy. They were right there. They were going to turn things around. They were going to take the league by storm. That didn't happen. Aaron Rodgers was asked yesterday about the Jets missing the playoffs again. I believe it is 14, right? So that's not even a baker's dozen. What do we call it once you hit 14?
+1. They are the only team in the past 14 years not to make the playoffs in all of professional American sports.
And yesterday when Aaron Rodgers was asked about that stretch of time, that stretch of futility, here's what he had to say.
Organization now, it's 14 straight years without making the playoffs. That's almost hard to do. Right?
What's the question?
Well, can you reflect on that and just why?
I mean, I've started 1 year, so
right.
I'm a part of it for 1 year. It's disappointing.
So, Joshy, we're going to give you the opportunity to do a little tap dance on the old Jets grave.
What an absolute leader there from Aaron Rodgers. Instead of taking the opportunity to say, I came here to change the Jets, to make it a winning culture, to instill a winning culture moving forward, I'm disappointed for both my teammates and the loyal fan base that I failed to take the Jets to the playoffs. He says, well, I really only started 1 year, so yeah, I'm disappointed. Like, that is the exact reason why he is not any better than he was when he left the Packers. It's a personality thing. It's a not dedicated to football. It's pointing the fingers everywhere else. And it just makes me very happy that Brian Gutekunst had the gumption to draft Jordan Love instead of course forward when he did, because look where there would be 3 wins. You're a 3-win football team with all that talent. It's embarrassing. And like for him to not reflect at all. I failed. I didn't do what was expected of me. It's just 1 year. What do you want me to do? The 13 others are someone else's fault. Like, man up.
So what now, though? I mean, the Jets, they have to get rid of him. They have to clean house.
They don't want him back, guys. They do not want him back.
Who wants him? Especially after hearing that. If he's going to take no accountability, what locker room is that
to be
going
perfectly
work?
honest with you, Joshy, if you take no accountability but you win games, no one gives a rip.
Right.
They take you. But it's the combination of,
Yes.
and to be fair, more so not winning games. You're not the difference maker you once were. You cannot drag an aging roster or a struggling roster past the finish line, past the goal line. You're not that guy anymore.
Right.
And to your point, the way that this roster was constructed was in large part because of him. He, whether he wants to admit it or not, demanded or asked for certain guys to be on the team last year, which put them behind as far as getting other talent assimilated to the culture, to the roster, to all of it. And so they are where they are, and in part because of him. And you're right. Yesterday he had an opportunity to say that this year's disappointment, at the very least, is on him.
But the ball's in his court. He's not going anywhere good, right? He's not going to a good team. So it's up to him if he wants to go to a bad team.
I don't.
Right? Do you want to go play for the
imagine.
Giants?
So here's
do
the thing,
you want
Chewy.
to go
Why do you bring in a veteran quarterback? Right? You bring him in for leadership. You bring him in. Like, I'm even seeing what's going on in Minnesota with Sam Darnold, and they're going, who's going to pay Sam Darnold? They have the Daniel Jones situation. They obviously have the J.J. McCarthy situation. Sam Darnold is a leader. Like, if you put him and J.J. McCarthy together, does Sam Darnold want to start? Obviously. But would he mentor J.J. McCarthy through his first few years starting in the league? I believe emphatically yes. Are you getting that from Aaron Rodgers? Do you bring him in to mentor give me some of the top quarterbacks, a Dylan Gabriel? You draft Dylan Gabriel and you bring Aaron Rodgers in to guide him and show him how to be a great quarterback in the league, how to handle the stressors and the responsibility of running a franchise. Do you?
Yeah, but bad teams are still going to want him. Bad teams will still want him. You're going to tell me the Raiders wouldn't take him? Of course they would. What about the Browns if they're done with the air guy? What's his name?
Deshaun Watson. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes. I mean, wouldn't you agree that bad teams will still want Aaron Rodgers?
Is that the only nickname that I have ever given someone that's stuck?
The air humper? Yeah, that was one of your better. That was one of your better.
I don't know how many teams are going to be in the position to bring in Aaron Rodgers, and maybe someone tries to do the draft a guy and have 1 year of. But like is Aaron Rodgers going to want that? Because that's going to be a bad team.
That's what I'm saying. It's in his court.
Like the Jets worked because they were underperforming at quarterback, but had so much talent, so you could at least make a case for it. Like the Carolina Panthers. Why? What's Aaron Rodgers going to do there? What's he going to do with the Browns? What's he going to do with the Raiders?
Well, I can tell you, the Browns fans are probably looking at it like, he's still got it in him, and we still have a great roster. We can make this work. Even though if you put the film on of this year, not so sure. But bad teams will want him, so it's up to him. Do you want to go and play so you don't go out this way for a potential 3-14 team? Because that's all he's getting. He's not getting anywhere else. Let me ask you this: Is he going to get a TV deal, Jen?
He has been on the record. He's been on the record saying he has no interest in joining the media. He's been on the record saying he has no interest in joining any sort of broadcast.
Cornered himself out too.
We got to take a break. Rob Demovsky is coming up next. We will ask him many things about the Green Bay Packers, but maybe we can also pick his brain on whether or not he thinks Aaron Rodgers will play in the NFL next season. Josh, you put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll as well. Do you think Aaron Rodgers will play next season or will be on an NFL roster next season? Let's even open it up a little bit wider for the guy. Take a break. Be right back after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, looks like things are still going to be backed up along westbound 94 heading through the stadium interchange. So give yourself that extra time there all the way to about 35th or to Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound on 43, an accident just south of Capitol Drive blocking the left lane, really causing delays from Silver Spring on down. Eastbound side of 94 is going to be heavy from 92nd Street all the way through to 35th Street. Traffic is brought to you by
I got
Racine
you.
Danish
Yeah,
Kringles. This season, try their newest holiday pastry, Eggnog Kringle. Go to kringle.com to order or call 800-4DANISH.
Not bad, you.
And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, morning clouds, then partly cloudy skies, a high of 50. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 30. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
This time of year can be really tough on a number of areas in your home. If you're struggling with any electrical issues, the superheroes at Current Electric are ready to help you. Chuck Smith is a Brookfield Central grad who started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality. Whether it's as small as a switch repair or as large as rewiring your entire home to a generator to keep your lights on or even interest in solar energy, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from ESPN Milwaukee's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You know how much I love and trust X Golf with my golf game. Whether we're talking about Brookfield or Mequon, the state-of-the-art simulators, the custom golf clubs they can build, the lessons you can get from their PGA pros. Secretly, one of my favorite things is after my round. In fact, most Fridays, you can find me in Brookfield at the bar enjoying a nice cold drink, maybe having some of the food that they have from their incredible menu. This can happen for you too. Go to xgolfbrookfield.com or xgolfmequon.com to book your tee time today.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. Better is right around the corner in 2025. Feeling better, that is. Getting rid of that joint pain once and for all. QC Kinetics is your solution to finally getting that joint pain relief that you are looking for. When I went to QC Kinetics, I found them to be incredibly accommodating, knowledgeable, and personal to be able to take what I was dealing with and put me on my own individualized plan to pain relief. So no matter what you're dealing with, shoulders, knees, hips, or back, it was back for me. The medical professionals at QC Kinetics are going to use all the tools in their tool belt to help give you that pain relief you've been looking for. So many things that allow you to feel your best for a brand new year. If you've been told surgery is your only or best option, you deserve a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation to live your best life in 2025. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
We need a new intro for this year, though.
All right, we'll work on it.
Consider it done, Rob.
ESPN's #1 source for green and gold information.
Look, I would suspect that we don't see Malik Willis throw the ball down the field a whole lot, especially early, but it would not surprise me if we got back to more of the quick West Coast stuff.
Our most musically inclined and bald guest.
I was overly harsh about Gabe's golf game because I played terrible yesterday.
It's Rob Demovsky.
This better be a great segment.
On Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Lots of stuff to get to around the NFL related to the Green Bay Packers. Do they still have something to play for in the final 3 games of the season? But before we get to that, Rob Demovsky, we just had a conversation about Aaron Rodgers. We just had a conversation about the way he responded to an inquiry about the 14 years of futility, postseason futility in New York, and how he said, well, I've only been here for 1 year. Joshy says, take a little responsibility for your role in the team's struggles this year, which brought us to this question. Will he be on an NFL roster next season?
Oof. I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say that I know it only takes one team, right? There's 32 of them, and it only takes one. But I'm going to say that the league retires him, but that he paints it as, it's his choice.
That's good stuff.
Interesting. Rob, is it time for them to go out and get a #1 receiver? Because you look around. I mean, Jaden Reed is their top receiver, but he's 57th in the league when it comes to catches, and he only played 25 snaps in the game. Now, granted, I know they had 45, but why only 25?
Well, that's Chewy. That's the question of today's availability with Matt LaFleur and in the locker room. Because since Jaden Reed's 6-catch, I think it was a 113-yard game against the Lions the first time, he has a combined 73 yards receiving in the next 4 games, including a big fat donut in the rematch in Detroit. What has happened to Jaden Reed is the story of today at Lambeau Field. And we should have asked him after the game, should have asked LaFleur about it, and there was so much other stuff going on that we just, I don't know, just never got to it, I guess. But, what's happening there is a huge question. But to answer your overarching question, Chewy, about a number one receiver, I think this is, of all the benefits that they talked about all offseason, and they got tired of us asking that very question, of all the benefits of it is, it's harder to game plan and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you need a guy who, when everyone in the stadium knows that the ball is going to him, they still throw it to him and he can still catch it. But look, I mean, they're not going to draft a receiver in the first round, right? I mean, that's an absolute given. So do you find one, on your own roster and develop them, or how do you get them? Because I think we're headed down the path of a pass rusher or cornerback, as a high draft pick this year, based on what we've seen and based on what we know of their history, that they only 2 offensive players they've drafted in the first round in the last however many years is Jordan Love and last year Jordan Morgan.
Well, how much, and this is what we were discussing earlier today, Rob, how much are we supposed to just give Matt LaFleur, who is creating the offensive game plan with the offensive coordinator, the benefit of the doubt? Because we knew that if Josh Jacobs was going to get a heavy load, and he has been getting more touches in the receiving game as well, right? It's not just him running the ball. We knew that was going to compromise some of the numbers for the wide receivers. And we said, Matt LaFleur will prove his mettle as a coach if he can keep these pass catchers in check and not let anybody become disgruntled, like Chew said back in his day was always a threat, right? These guys getting upset because they weren't getting the ball, and then they'd pout a little bit, and then Holmgren would say, don't worry, I'll get you next time. Should we just trust the process, essentially, with Matt LaFleur? Some days it's going to be Watson, some days it's going to be Reed, a lot of times it's going to be Josh Jacobs, and the pieces will fall where they fall.
Well, yes, Jen, but Chewy made the point when he said how many snaps they had last week. I mean, I don't know if it was 45 or 50. I mean, what are you going to do with that, right? You better convert third downs more. But it's the chicken or the egg. Do you need a number one receiver to be able to move the chains and get first downs, and then therefore you have more plays to run? I mean, their play count is terribly low. At an offensive average. I mean, you remember there was one year I remember where Mike McCarthy said their goal was 75 offensive plays, which was probably unattainable. But certainly,
that's fast. That's fast pace, high tempo.
Yeah.
When you talk about college football, some of the
but you shouldn't have 45 or 50, right? You should be closer to 70. 75 is probably unattainable. But I mean, you have to getting first downs and accumulating plays solved a lot of these issues, and they just haven't been able to do that too often this year. And my guess is that's what the answer will be. Today when we asked LaFleur, how come Jaden Reed only got one ball thrown his way and no catches, is going to be, we need to run more plays. And he's right, but that's his job. So, that it all starts there for me.
But part of the problem is, Rob, why you have 45 plays, because the defense gives up 27 first downs. You can't flip and do that. And I like to read the team stats, and that kind of paints a picture for me with a game. If you look at these stats, Rob, I would say Detroit probably won by 14. Yeah. I mean, they had under 300 yards, where Detroit had almost 400, 45 plays to 76 first down. It just smelled of a 14-point win, not a 3-point win.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I guess that tells you, for the glass half full people, and my glass is pretty much empty right now. But it tells you that they're closer than it looks, based on the fact they've lost 6 out of 7 to the Lions, and the Lions have kind of become the biggest problem for the Packers over the last couple of years. But, whether you lose by 14 or lose by 3, does it really matter?
No, not really. But it's just
and here's
like
the other thing, Chewy, too. Like, I was thinking about this. When have they beaten a good team lately? They've swept the AFC South, which has one winning team, right? Houston, and then a bunch of terrible teams. If they beat Seattle, that's probably a decent win, 8-5. But they swept that division, which has a bunch of mediocre teams. Arizona, San Francisco, and they beat the Rams, and the Rams I think are 7-6 maybe right now. So it's not like they've got a ton of, their strength of victory is probably not great right now. I haven't looked at it yet, but to me they have to, over the final month of the season, and their chances of against Detroit are done, obviously. But to me, they need a couple quality wins to make you feel better about their chances in the playoffs, and their quality win opportunities are Minnesota and Seattle this week.
Rob,
does this week scare you, Rob?
It does a little bit more than it did a couple weeks ago, because Seattle looks like they're playing a lot better, and obviously had a pretty good win yesterday. So yeah, I think it should, and going out there is never easy.
Rob Demovsky hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning. Okay, I lost my True Media login, so I can't figure out what the explosive plays are. Do you have any idea what the explosive play rankings are? I remember early in the season, maybe after the first quarter of the season, I believe the Packers led the league. But there has been a crap ton of games since then, and it doesn't feel like they have been as explosive as they were early on. Do you have any idea how the Packers rank in explosive plays?
I'll see how good I am at True Media really quick here. Explosive plays. What do we call rushing yards over 12 and receiving yards over 16? Is that what the usual definition?
Sometimes 20 for explosive, but let's go with 16 for funsies.
Oh boy, let's see if I can figure this out here. Rank explosive play rank. Boy, I'm terrible at reading this, but it looks to me like they are pretty far down the list. I don't know. I'm terrible at True Media. I should just give you my True Media login and.
I just need to put a little effort into it. If we're being honest, like I have the information somewhere, I just haven't put it.
When I did a search here, pass plays over 20 yards and rushes over 20 as well. They were top 5 in both, which changes obviously if you move it a little bit on those standards, because some places do 15 for a rush.
I will say this: I did see in the game the other day. One of stat from our ESPN stats and info people that Jordan Love has the second most deep ball completions this season on balls thrown over 40 yards in the air.
And that's great news, right? Because that was something we talked about headed into this year that Jordan needed to be better at.
Well, Matt Bowen, our former player and who works for ESPN now.
Here we go. Yeah, we brought this up with Chewy last week.
called Jordan Love the best deep ball thrower in the league when he ranked like 120 different things that who's the best at this and the best at that, and Love was way up there. He was number one. So he had the 59-yarder to Watson, had 42 air yards. Was Love's fourth completion of 40 air yards this season, tied for second most. Behind only Jaden Daniels.
All right, before we move on, I want to very quickly, you just mentioned the Bowen article. Dan Orlovsky also did some rankings, and he ranked Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs as the 15th NFL quarterback wide receiver duo. Does that seem about right to you? Is it even Romeo Doubs as their quote-unquote number one? But 15 is like middle of the pack. As one of the top teams in the NFC, that feels low. But again, maybe it's because they don't have a number one wide receiver.
I honestly, I thought it might be lower, to be honest with you, because they just don't have the volume, and that, to me, that's what a number one receiver is. It's volume. Speaking of Dan Orlovsky, by the way, I was boarding my flight in Green Bay to go to Detroit last week, and there was some Packer fan sitting there, and he thought I was Dan Orlovsky. Just because my name's got a V-S-K-Y in it. I assume he knows I'm not a former NFL quarterback. He just
were you wearing a hat?
No, I wasn't wearing a hat. I heard him.
Doesn't Orlovsky have hair?
I heard him say, "Hi, Dan," and I was like, "What?" And then I heard him whisper to his buddy, "That's Dan Orlovsky."
Isn't Dan like 6'3"? 6'4"? I could be underestimating Dan Orlovsky's height.
I mean, do I look? I mean, I could barely pass for a kicker.
I'm thinking of another Dan.
He's 6'5". That's amazing.
And he played in Detroit, right?
I don't know, man.
Didn't he play in Detroit? I think he did.
No, I believe wasn't he a Lion when he stepped out of bounds in the back?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's right.
More importantly, do you correct someone if they call you by the wrong name?
So that's a great question because in college, so Robert is my real name, right? I hate Bob. Like, I've always hated Bob, which is why Aaron Rodgers called me Bob, because he found out that I hated it. And I had a Spanish class in college, and the teacher called me Bob all the time. And like the first 3 weeks of the semester, I corrected her, and it never stuck. And I would see people out about in town that were in that class, and even they called me Bob. Like, I was walking down the street one day, and some person calls me Bob, like thinking that's really my name. And my roommate was like, "What the heck was that all about?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to correct this teacher, and it doesn't work." So I basically given up. I just nodded to the guy, whatever. I put my AirPods in and pretended like I didn't hear him.
See, that's tricky because there's a hierarchy there, right? The teacher and you, and the teacher sort of has control over your grade and maybe your livelihood in some way at that part of your life. But I'm telling you right now, somebody continually calls me by the wrong name, I'm getting in their face, especially if I've corrected them multiple times. Hey,
don't mess with Julie.
Donkey.
Yeah.
I've told you my name is Jen, right? I've told you my name is Jen 6 times. It isn't sticking. What can we do to make it stick?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question.
Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. Dan Orlovsky joins us every Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. What the hell? All right, Rob, have a great one. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, we'll see you.
That is an egregious error.
Yeah, that's funny.
He might be right, though. It could be the skis. Demovksy, Orlovsky.
Yeah.
Both work for ESPN. Both covered the NFL. I guess. It's wow. 'Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them this holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. From a spectacular brunch with Santa to the holiday marketplace to one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences, St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week through the holiday season. Make a night of it and extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at St. Kate. Special packages are now available. Celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Place to go for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee. Of course, there's only one answer. Of course, it is the Jewelry Center. You've heard me and Chew tell you about our guy, Dean the Dancing Machine, for years, and there's a reason for it. No matter what kind of diamond engagement ring you're looking for, the Jewelry Center has it, and the helpful team is always going to be able to point you in the right direction. Whether you're looking for a naturally mined diamond, a lab-grown diamond, the Jewelry Center has answers. So check them out. ShopTJC.com is the website, or stop in one of their stores in Brookfield, Greenfield, or in Burlington. You will not regret it. And make sure when you go to the Jewelry Center, you tell them that Gabe and Chew sent you.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together, we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Hi, Monica.
This is our WOW engagement ring for Christmas.
Wow. Wow.
It features a 1-carat created diamond center stone.
Completely surrounded by a halo of little created diamonds that makes it look huge.
And each of those 3 bands is covered in diamonds.
I've never seen anything like it.
2 carats total weight.
There's no way this is less than $5,000.
No, we're selling these for half that much.
$24.98? I need to lie down and put a cool rag on my forehead.
And you can choose a 1-carat round, oval, or radiant diamond as your center stone.
Kessler's is the coolest store in the world.
But there's more. Look at this.
It's a matching pendant. Take that rag off your head and get up, Rick. You have to see this.
How big is that?
It's a 1.5 carat created diamond, surrounded by the same halo of little created diamonds. 2 1/3 carats total weight.
This tag says it's just $1,998.
See it for yourself at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Is your business looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been looking forward to the future and helping businesses shape what's next for 165 years and for the last 15 here in Milwaukee. They offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making capabilities, and extensive experience to help navigate the complexities of a constantly changing business market environment. With your business in mind, commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC.
The president of James Imaging Systems, Tom Tegeter.
Over 45 years ago, my father, James Tegeter, founded our company on a cornerstone of quality, integrity, and service as the best way of connecting with clients. As I reflect on 2024, I'm grateful for the James Imaging Systems team. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to always connecting with clients and helping them thrive. To each long-term client, I extend my gratitude and thanks for your confidence and support. We look forward to remaining connected to you as your local business technology partner. I also appreciate our new 2024 clients for connecting with us. Welcome to the James Imaging Systems family. Looking forward to 2025, I believe if each of us embraces the power of connection, our local community will prosper. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and God bless America.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Experience elite orthopedic care at OAW. Their skilled teams in Pewaukee, Brookfield, and Mukwonago offer tailored treatment for your needs.
Well, Chris Middleton finding his way back into the mix for the Bucks as he returned from injury on Friday night in a loss against the Celtics. But on Sunday, we did get a glimpse of the old Chris getting healthier and healthier, along with 34 points from Giannis.
And a three to answer is good on the other end by Middleton. From the right wing, he pulls up and gets the Bucks back within 2. Lillard, one more to Middleton, sets his feet for 3. Yes! Middleton, 2 threes in a row.
118-113, the final. Bucks beat the Nets in Brooklyn in their final game before Tuesday's NBA Cup quarterfinal action against the Orlando Magic.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Book your appointment today at orthowisconsin.com. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I have told you how many times. Do not mess with electricity, Chew.
And I don't. I did. I did. But I don't.
Incident?
There was one.
Plumbing, you're going to get wet. Electricity, you're going to die.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go.
Does Chewy have a legitimate gripe with The Cure and Depeche Mode cover bands being the same band in different costumes? 55% of people believe that you do have a legitimate gripe, buddy. You should really ask for your $10 back, which apparently was the gate. Okay. Should Chewy lose Don't Sleep On privileges after telling us all year not to sleep on the 6 and 7 Atlanta Falcons? 49% of people say yes, you're banned. 51% of people say, nope, shooters got to shoot.
All right, 2 for 2. 2 for 2. I know that bothers Josh.
Will Aaron Rodgers be on an NFL roster next season? 71% of respondents are saying no, he's done. And by done, I mean totally done. No team or media outlet wants to touch that toxic material. That from Jay on the Twitter account. Wilde and Tausch is next on ESPN Milwaukee. Have a great one, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow.
Things are starting to wind down.